you have to be able to adapt and realize that sometimes things don't come at face value. And that little adaptation, that little tweak helps traders not only find those good trades, but back off of trades that maybe they didn't realize were just not going to work. If you just have a blank news reader flowing, you just got a mirage of words that are really meaningless. Hey Axia Trader, Mike here coming at you with another one from Chicago, Illinois. And today we're going to cover scenario triggers. All right, so let's get into it. Scenarios and narratives are essentially an ever-evolving phenomenon in the market, as many of you who've traded in the market for some time now know. And these are, the development of a theme, right? The thematics. So currently, as of today, May 4th, we've got the Iran-US war on its third month with or developing of sequence within that narrative and that scenario. The key part about setting up hypotheses with your TPOs, your market profiles, assets in focus, oil in this case, what risk asset you choose in this case, whether it's equities or maybe currencies. All of this is plugged into your scenario and development skills. A big part of scenario and narrative skill is in your immersion over time and how you learn the sequencing of events. If you think of a domino, one domino falls, the rest follow, or you think of a chess match, certain sequences are calculated in order to kind of get ahead of a move, if you will. It's sort of how it develops in your mind, right? And we, always are talking about how this is something that computers cannot do. So I really wanted to highlight some elements of how you develop your scenario building, your narrative building to get better at your execution when narratives are fruitful, for example, like the one we're currently in. As traders, you'll constantly be going through cycles of narratives, whether they're geopolitical driven, whether they are policy driven. So you think of monetary policy, that's going to be your central banks. Sometimes it'll be fiscal policy, obviously driven by elections. The biggest one recently was the US election. And sometimes it'll be more sort of narrow micro nuances, right? So like earnings narratives or perhaps something focused on one particular asset. So think of gold back in January when it was, at cycle highs. So these things happen in a cyclical fashion. And as traders, it's important that we don't just rely on the idea that candlesticks and structures on technicals are going to show us how to access those life-changing money-making moments. It's really all about learning and immersing yourself in scenario and narrative development. The second thing I'm going to cover on today's video is going to be on the nuance and the phenomenon around how the hypos that you are likely creating, either through our courses or through other ways that you've learned, these hypos are often triggered by scheduled or unscheduled news. And we talk a lot about that in our courses. If you've ever taken a course with Axia, you know this. One of the most important parts about these unscheduled events, because the scheduled events, not to say they're easier, but they're a lot more anticipatory, right? It's an implied volatility, if you will. So, come this Friday, we're going to have that NFP hit. There's obviously going to be a lot of traders like yourselves, Axia traders, other firms, funds hovered over their execution terminals on a implied volatility event, where the unscheduled news is actually where things get very fruitful, because if you know how to track narrative and you know how to be said trigger ready using the right news terminals, the right highlights on your news terminals, the right keywords, timing, and understanding of kind of what matters, that's where the real money's made. And I really want to take some time to kind of run you through these points to help guide you on that front. And just a reminder, folks, click that link below at elitetraderworkshop.com. Just a reminder as well, we do have a Discord channel. That Discord channel, I am running a live session every day at 9:30 Eastern, where, these narratives that are in play, we try and prep our traders for what is likely to happen, particularly today. One of the main things I've been driving home and banging on the table about in that room over the last 2 weeks is how there's really no market reaction due until there's a kinetic response from Iran regarding the current ceasefire kind of doldrum. So what I mean by that is a lot is said, but what the market cares about is what is done. So we went in there today. We were talking about how if the markets were going to move today, it was going to be on the back of these developments that the UAE had its first missile alarms go off for the first time since early April. And that kicked off. That went from 1 alert to 5 alerts by the end of the day. And the S&Ps took a hit, risk assets took a hit, and the oil rose quite substantially on the day. And, some good money was made on that. So make sure you click that link, elitetraderworkshop.com, and get involved with our live assessment of real-time markets. All right, let's kick into this. So essentially, you want to think of scenario and narrative development a lot like a code sequence, right? Anybody who's ever programmed, you know what conditionals are. Conditionals being sort of if, else, then XYZ statements. So if this happens or else, then this, right? So in today's case, like I just mentioned, if the UAE receives more missile threats, then we would look for risk assets to drop and the energy complex to rise, right? And also just, being aware that that means having the oil ladder and the, risk asset of choice that you are sort of following as your main driver or trade idea near and around each other for quick execution so that you are ready, right? Conditionals change. And again, the whole idea of being a fast developing news trader, which is something that Axia prides itself on, is constantly adapting to what that narrative is guiding you with. So what the market is guiding you with, and also kind of, asking yourself, what are the imaginary scenarios, if you will? If you scroll through our Discord chat every morning, you can see all of the traders remote, Cyprus, Croatia, in London, wherever, they're all posting imaginary scenarios based on the experience and the immersion that they've had on what could potentially be market moving and could start tracking a new shift in price action. Because again, it's 4D chess, right? It's game theory, and it's all about that sort of how you log that in your debriefs and then in your sort of prep. That's what makes a difference in your ability to execute those hypos, because again, it only fulfills usually based on a driver. And often I hear a lot of traders go, oh no, the market went exactly where I said it was going to go on my hypo. Here's the screenshot. I said if the market is going to go down, it's going to land right here, in this volume pocket. If the market goes up, it's going to take out the poor high. But again, it's that extra skill set of knowing when, where, and why. And that's really where timing, and again, having the right workspace setup to be able to understand when that where and why is going to happen. Are you trigger ready? This is a big one. So this is probably the biggest thing I'll cover in this video. We're all here to trade. We're all here to access these moves, access these narratives. So again, knowing what matters is a massive part of this game, because if you think back to the beginning of April when the ceasefire was announced, there was many announcements, many headlines from both sides, US and Iran, that sounded like escalation. But again, markets were up 10% on the S&P 500 from the March low at the end of March, and then at the end of April we were basically closing at a plus 10% move. And this is where, again, you have to be able to adapt and realize that sometimes things don't come at face value. And this is something I was driving home a lot in the kind of early sequence of the ceasefire, that it was very clear that the market was not really willing to react at face value in a negative way as much as it was really willing to react with an aggressive upside retracement of prices that had been done on the move down on any little speckle of positive news. And that little adaptation, that little tweak helped traders not only, find those good trades, but back off of trades that maybe they didn't realize were just not going to work. And that, again, saves them the risk, it saves them the pain, and it puts them on the right side of the market. And that's what it's all about, is being on the right side of the market. But again, that doesn't always come at face value, folks. Knowing what matters too has a lot to do with your workspace, and not just, where you put your news radar, where you put your ladders, but how you actually detail your ladders, detail your news readers. For me in particular, I make sure that my energy complex is, blacks, browns, darker colors, kind of, an oil color, that equities are, specific kind of brighter colors, with the ES being blue, with the NASDAQ being a teal, the Dow being green, so that when something hits, my eyes know where to go. And then, moreover, your news readers. Okay, so you'll notice here in this post that I put up today on the Discord, I've got, posts from X also highlighted. So, the word Iran not only pops up with the said keyword highlighted in that orange, but also anything war related has a background of orange highlighted. So again, this is one of the most important skills for Axia traders that we're constantly developing. When something is flashing, because if you just have a blank news reader flowing, you just got a mirage of words that are really meaningless. But if you have colors that correlate to a reaction that you're training yourself, kind of a Pavlovian reaction, you then are much more likely to know, okay, my mouse needs to hover over the oil, and I'm going to look for a bid if there's some kind of escalation going on. Or as I just said before, if it doesn't really matter, maybe back off of an aggressive move and perhaps look for the market to find a speckle of optimism in whatever's coming through the wire. So, today it was all about the UAE attack. It was all about sort of a slow, gradual escalation starting to appear within the perception of the market on whether these peace talks were going to follow through. And, words like ceasefire, really important back in mid to early April when those first announcements came out. That word ceasefire, as soon as it popped up, it was very clear that we would be hovering over the bid on the S&P or whatever risk assets we would choose. So again, just to highlight this, today you see here this move on the S&P down, which was pretty substantial, and this move up on the WTI, that's where you saw that escalation, which we haven't actually seen that clean correlation between oil and the ES since kind of, I want to say, just before the ceasefire be so strong and correlated. But again, it was just that right trigger, that right little element that brought you back into that sequencing, back into that scenario matrix that then could be executed on. Kind of a short one today, folks. We'll keep them coming. Keep an eye out for these developments in the crude space, in the risk asset space, and we'll catch you on the next one.